So the nutrition transition is essentially the shift away from eating staples and foods around staples and kind of fresh food towards consuming foods that are very high in fats, sugar and salt, and ultra-processed snacks and drinks. And there has been an incredible shift in the global diet as a result of this nutrition transition. And it looks similar pretty much everywhere, in the sense of people eating more snacks being easily available, more ultra-processed foods being available, more fats being available, more salt, more sugars being available. So in one sense, it's very uniform. It takes the same trajectory across different settings. But it does take a different form depending on what was there before. So one of the important transitions that happened in Latin American countries, for example, was the shift to consuming more bread. That was at a much earlier stage of the nutrition transition. And so there are, and then and elsewhere in West Africa at the moment, for example, the shift is about people moving out of their traditional staples into consuming more rice. So that's at an earlier stage of the transition. And then in the later stages of the transition, when the snack foods start to come in some settings, it's about people consuming many more kind of international brands, all of the well-known corporate brands. In some settings, it's about eating what we call the B brands, the locally produced packets of chips that are in unbranded packets, for example, or in local brands. So it does take some different forms, but one of the things that is striking about the nutrition transition is that there is this universality to it. It's a shift away from what we ate before towards more refined grains, towards more fats, sugars and salts, more ultra-processed fats and snacks and drinks. So the nutrition transition has come about for a range of different reasons, one of which is what we call globalization. And that isn't only the exchange of goods across food across borders, but it's all kinds of commerce across borders, the exchange of money, the exchange of investment, and increasing integration of the global economy. And that increasing integration of the global economy enables a flow of money, which enabled investment to be made in the production of different types of foods. So, for example, if we take the soft drinks industry, the process of globalization, which was a policy shift, it was an intentional policy shift, it wasn't just something that happened, those policies began to enable investment in more liberal ways that opened up the investment markets, which enabled investment into soft drinks production facilities in many countries of the global south, from companies in the global north, which enabled them to produce more drinks. It enabled investment in more modern forms of retailing. So that was incredibly important. But it's also, in the current form of globalization, it's about data, the shift of data, the sharing of data, the understanding of consumers, the ability to market to consumers. And it's about the increasing adoption of ways of producing goods. For example, vertically integrated production of meat, notably of poultry, is a method of production that has been enabled to spread as a result of globalization. So a combination of technical exchange of increasing availability of cheap feed due to imports, and companies which have vertically integrated operations in one country can apply the same process to another. And that has enabled the increasing production of chicken and other forms of poultry at very low cost, which has led to the increasing intake of poultry relative to beef in many different countries. So globalization has its fingers everywhere when it comes to the food that we eat in the world today.